Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John Sisbitty, a true letter welcome to Deadly Premonition 2, which is, oh bloody hell, how to sum up Deadly Premonition. Right, so, at a glance, if you looked at, say, its Steam page, you'd probably think Deadly Premonition was like a horror game, and it sort of was, maybe 10% of the time, but the thing about Deadly Premonition is it kind of defies categorization, because it also went off on long digressions on how to make the perfect sandwich, or the taxonomy of squirrels, or a slot machine fishing mini-game that had a really jaunty whistling soundtrack over it. So, yeah, Deadly Premonition is possibly the weirdest game I've ever played, and it completely defies any attempt to give it any form of evaluation or score. It doesn't exist on the good-bad spectrum. It's just an experience. A weird, surreal experience that I kind of love anyway. So now we've got ourselves Deadly Premonition 2. What's going to be in it? What's it going to be about? Who bloody knows? Especially as... Okay, spoilers for Deadly Premonition 1 because it's the sequel. There's going to be spoilers possibly right from the beginning, so just accept that right now. Yeah, the first game doesn't really end in a particularly good sequel hook. Because in the first game, you play as Francis York Morgan, who has an imaginary friend called Zach. But it turns out at the end of the game that actually York was the imaginary friend all along, and they traded places when Zach was a child during a traumatic event. But at the end of the game, Zach reclaims his original body, York becomes the imaginary friend again, and then sort of leaves Zach to go and live in a parallel fantasy world with all the characters who died in the first game, including your love interest. Look, this is a bloody weird game, so yes, I'm not really sure who we're going to be meeting here. The protagonist could be one of two alternative personalities, who bloody knows? Okay, we're kicking off with a woman who's been murdered in a highly unlikely way again, so, right, some things never flip and change. Okay, what follows at this point is about 40 minutes of a framing device catching us up on the first game, so I'm just going to do it faster. In the year 2010, Francis York Morgan goes to the town of Greenville. There's been a murder there by a guy in a raincoat who uses an axe. It also involves a weird red tree and the seeds that tree produces, and turns out to be a sort of conspiracy involving a demon from the evil dark red color-coded dimension. No, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense. Basically, in the end, it all gets sorted out, but this game's about to flashback and be a prequel, so Francis York Morgan won't know any of that anyway. The one interesting fact that we might actually need to know is, it's brought up that Francis York Morgan suspiciously sort of passed through areas where there happened to be murders. He was just passing through on holiday when there happened to be a murder that needed solving, meaning now he's under suspicion of potentially in some way being involved. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. Summer 2005, 5 years before the event of the first game. Le Carré, Louisiana.
Zach, it looks like she wants us to join her for breakfast. Perhaps this town's finally starting to warm up to us. Look at that, Zach. She's welcoming us with open arms. She's even willing to share that tasty morsel with us. What an honor.
Hurry up and chow down, mister. Unless you like your breakfast stale.
What an amazing place. I've been on top of the moon since the moment I got here. And the name of this wonderful town, Le Carré, sounds like French to me. But what does it mean?
I'm the chef, David. If you want to know about the town, you'd better ask the concierge. Only amateur chefs flap their gums about stuff that ain't food-related.
David, chef! I like how everyone gets a dramatic intro, even people who've already been identified.
Did you hear that, Zach? He's a true professional.
You say something, mister?
No, not to you. I was just talking to Zach.
Zach?
Please don't ask me about Zach. It's a private matter.
If you say so, still. Never thought the FBI would ever come out to a little old town like ours.
I do work for the FBI, but I didn't come here for an investigation. I just happened to stop by on my way to New Orleans.
Never thought there'd be a murder out here either. And it was a 16-year-old kid. Now, I tell you, this country's seen better days. What you reckon, mister?
Zach, he's definitely a professional, but it seems like he's also a bit lonesome. That's good. Ambivalence exists everywhere.
Folks say the killer used an axe. Hell of an old-fashioned choice if you ask me.
Same as the weapon of the killer in the first game.
Actually, Chef David, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the incident.
But shoot, I ain't the one you ought to be asking, Mr. FBI. I only heard what I heard. But seeing as you're fixing to grill me, I can tell you what I know.
Please do. I appreciate it.
Okay, my chef friend, the girl in the ice block, tell me more.
You said the victim was a 16-year-old. Did you know her?
Well, sure. I reckon the whole town did.
Meaning?
She's Lise Clarkson, the little grandbaby of the Clarkson family.
The Clarkson family?
That's right. You ain't seen they sign on your way in here? The one above that huge cold storage complex. Should have had a dragonfly on it. Anyway, that's the Clarkson family seal. They own most of the land around here, from the sugar plantations right down to the food processing plant. Yeah, I reckon they got a stake in just about everything.
Okay, the girl's from a rich and powerful local family.
They even own the water tower on the edge of town, you know. They're the ones who built up this town, and they still support it.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to be needing to know a bit more about that. Them I'm going to want to speak to because, yeah, I've decided to just throw myself into this one.
What do you know about the Clarksons' house?
Now, I ain't got nothing bad to say, but I'm gonna talk straight to you. You best steer clear of that place.
You were being rather nice about them a second ago.
That family ain't just some gang. They're a whole different kind of beast.
Or maybe not.
They folks with real power. Remnants of the good old boys who shaped America in the early days.
Ah, why do I get the feeling that yes, you've got a very good reason to not be fond of them?
Especially the head of the family, P.J. Clarkson. He's the kind of monster who goes around eating other monsters. And I'm sure he's on edge now with his granddaughter getting murdered and all. So don't go barging in with that shiny FBI badge of yours and think you'll be safe for nothing. Things are different down here. So if you plan on sticking around, you best remember that.
I see. I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, so logically the cops are just going to be in this PJ Clarkson's pocket, presumably. If he's upset about this and she was related to him, then yeah, they're going to be presumably being very helpful indeed, really trying to solve this one.
Is the local law enforcement investigating the case?
Shoot, mister, what you think? Now, I told you this ain't no city. We in the bonafide boondocks here. They got to know how to break up fights and keep folks from killing each other when they pissed you off. They sit down and talk it out with you heart to heart, and when that don't work, they just beat your ass. That's the Deep South for you. This murder ain't like that, though. A little kid got killed. A weird way. Like something on a TV show. The sheriff's department ain't never seen nothing like this.
Okay, so it's not that they wouldn't want to, it's just that, yeah, they're blatantly completely incompetent and, well, out of their depth. Incompetent might be a bit on the harsh side. Anyway, how am I going to be getting about town? Because if there's anything like the first game, it's going to be a bit open world.
By the way, Mr. FBI, I ain't seen a car in the parking lot. How'd you get all the way out here, huh? Don't tell me you walked.
Well, that's a very good question. Chef David, you've got a sharp eye. It's true that I didn't park my car in your parking lot. Do you know why?
Can't say I do.
Because it was stolen.
Huh? But you with the FBI, right?
Even FBI cars can be stolen. It could happen after you park your car on the side of the road and go off to do some legwork. When you're eating lunch, when you're watching a movie, when you're asleep at night, when you're buying cigarettes at the local supermarket.
Yes, York, we don't actually need, like, a full list of things that you could be doing when you're not in your car, it's fine.
Your car can be stolen anywhere. That's precisely what it means to be an FBI agent.
Welcome to Swery Scripts, by the way, where characters will occasionally just go off on mad digressions about nothing of note. It's great.
In my case, my car was stolen while I was on my way down here. But no need to worry. I already reported it to the local authorities.
Not sure that's going to do much good by the sounds of it.
And I've also already acquired another mode of transportation.
Another mode?
Want to hear the details?
Not really, but I'll listen if you want me to.
Okay, this chef's already got my flippin' number.
Then please do. After I finished my work in Houston, I flew to New Orleans. Then, I rented a car at the airport. Whenever I visit the West Coast, I always rent a convertible, especially in California. But now I'm in hot and sticky Louisiana. So, I decided on a brand new hybrid car with a fully equipped air conditioning system.
A hybrid car?
Oh yes, they're marvelous. Vehicles that utterly defy everything you think you know about cars. Now, in the year 2005, it feels like we've finally entered the 21st century. Stomp down on the gas all you want. The engine won't make a sound.
It's silent?
At first, I felt like the landscape was moving past me on its own. Give it a few more years, and I'm sure we'll start seeing cars that run purely on electricity.
What I'm getting from this is Swery recently bought an electric car and he really likes it.
Who knows? In a decade or so, electric sports cars may end up lining the parking lots of Silicon Valley. I can see it now. It's the world of The Last Starfighter, 1984, directed by Nick Castle. It's famous for being the first film to utilize realistic CG, but I couldn't care less about that. See, I was mesmerized by the beautifully refined mech designs. It even made me wish that I could be one of them myself, especially the Gunstar spacecraft. No other sci-fi movie has ever had.
So, where'd your hybrid car get stolen?
Sorry, I got off topic. I noticed it was missing after I finished my lunch and walked out of the diner. Incidentally, this diner was located at the entrance to a small town just south off the I-10. I went out to get back in it, but my hybrid car was nowhere to be found. I remembered exactly where I parked it, right between a blue pickup truck and a hedgerow. But when I came back from lunch, it had completely vanished. In short, someone stole it, and in its place, they left me this.
What?
A skateboard.
A skateboard?
Yes. While I was sliding my lunch into my stomach, someone was busy replacing my brand new hybrid car with a wooden board attached to 4 wheels. Remarkable, don't you think?
So then how did you get here?
By riding the skateboard, obviously. Why do you look so surprised? No, I couldn't ride the board very well at first. But by the time I hit the 3-mile mark, I'd more or less gotten the hang of it. By the 10-mile mark, I'd even learned to do a few tricks.
Just don't ask questions about this game, okay? Just go with it, okay? Seriously, never even try and think about this game. It'll just make your head hurt. Okay, so we're gonna be getting around on a skateboard, got it. And, yes, bizarre murder. Do we know about the ice block thing yet? Is that public knowledge?
When you say it was like something from a TV show, what exactly do you mean?
Hey, mister, why do you look so excited, huh? Like a kid asking grandma to read him a fairy tale.
I just can't seem to keep myself away from young women who died in bizarre ways.
Yes, which is a little bit on the sinister side, because, as I say, this man has got 2 personalities living inside him. York's in the driving seat right now, because, yeah, Zack only takes over at the end of the first game, but in theory, if it turns out there's a pattern of me showing up just when a young girl gets murdered in a very theatrical way, yeah, what if I had an alternative personality who occasionally, you know, took hold of the steering wheel while I was asleep or something, and actually set up murders that my other half enjoys solving?
Well, I ain't seen it with my own eyes, but folks say they found the body hanging under a bridge on the bayou. And under that bridge, there was some kind of altar.
An altar?
Like something they use in black magic. Something horrible.
Voodoo?
Nah, wasn't nothing like that. Just a weird altar.
That's all?
Oh, and the body was all cut up in pieces, scattered around the altar like.
So she was sacrificed?
That's what the fella who discovered her said, yeah.
Bingo, Zach. This case has got our names all over it.
Okay, I'm starting to become suspicious that, yeah, possibly Zach was out and about and doing some bad stuff long before 2010 in Greenvale.
Zach, the searing light. These scents. It's the deep south. That was a fabulous breakfast. You're the world's greatest chef.
Wait, mister. You didn't take a single bite.
Well, the tea was to die for. But I'd prefer coffee next time. What would a morning be without coffee?
And we are in control. Marvellous. So that is... Wow, that is the world's biggest pie. That's a ridiculously large pie. Possibly they have stupidly large pies in Louisiana. I don't know. So, okay. Got myself some breakfast. Wearing some... I mean, it looks like I'm wearing really, really nice pyjamas. Or possibly this is like a... I don't know, a full denim suit. I've no idea what I'm supposed to be wearing. But apparently, I've decided, screw it, I'm bored on my holiday, I'm going to solve a murder now instead. And straight away this feels very familiar, because yeah, you actually were based in a hotel in the first game as well. So you always came back to the hotel to sleep at the end of the day, and whatever. So, okay, this all feels very familiar. And also I can buy, I can buy myself some coffee, or some cola, or some root beer, so concentration alleviates drowsiness. So, okay, if I start getting tired for some reason, then potentially I can just drink some coffee to get over it. So, alright, gotta find my room, and that's a mirror, so it's probably not in there. Aha, here we go, we got something over here, so plenty of this is blocked up for now. Got health, got stamina, and so far everything is pretty normal, which probably means that, yeah, give it 5 or so minutes, I'll be in an evil dark dimension of some description. Oh, there's our lad looking right again. That's the traditional outfit. Boom.
Sang Rouge. We've been chasing it all over America. But I feel like we're finally on the verge of finding something now. Don't you, Zach?
Okay, so I'm not actually just here on holiday at all. I was here for some sort of drug which has got, yeah, rouge, red, in the title. So there's the red all over again.
An emergent drug that's been on the rise in 4 southern states. Personally, I think it originated right here in Louisiana. And Lise Clarkson's murder must be connected to it somehow.
Okay, but have we actually heard of her before? Was I just lying to the chef?
The 16-year-old girl who was murdered. Her body was found beneath a bridge over the bayou.
Alright, so that's a different girl to the one we just saw in the block of ice.
Along with a strange altar.
And yeah, the head of the town. Want to watch out for him, apparently.
The powerful man who essentially controls the town of Lucare. And he seems to be more fearsome than your average gangster. I doubt he'll be willing to cooperate with any law enforcement, Zach.
Really? You'd think if he, like, you know, owned the cops and whatever, and they were incompetent and thus couldn't solve the crime, he'd really want someone to come in and solve the crime, but whatever. Oh, and here we go. The shaving mechanic is back. So, yeah, in the first game, if you didn't shave, you eventually just sort of grew a beard. Because these games are full of just random, weird, extra things you could do or not do. So, yes, we're going to be doing that. We're going to be not shaving. See if by the end of this, I can grow at least a tiny, tiny bit of a moustache. Aha! And something new we've got returning too. Yeah, your pause menu is a weird, terrifying red room of death. So that's good. Ah, but the Red Room of Death now does contain a proper link board, so I can start tying things together if I want to. That's cool. Liking that. Other than that, yeah, change my clothes here. That's a storage box right there. But red means this is your main thing over here. You can also get yourself, yeah, your current objective if you want to know your main objective at any time. So, okay, hello there. Who are you precisely?
Hey there, Chef. What's cooking?
Chef, what are you talking about, sir? I'm the concierge, David.
Okay, well, obviously they'd be identical twins with the same name. Why wouldn't that be the case?
I just heard from our chef that you wish to learn the meaning behind our town's name.
Yes, I've gathered that Le Carré is French, but does it have any special meaning?
Why, yes, sir, of course it does. A very clear, logical meaning. All names have meanings. Would you like to know what this one means?
Yes, I would.
Jolly good, sir. Then allow me to explain. Le Carré means square in French.
Ah. And?
That's it.
That's it?
Yes, that's it, sir. Do take a gander at the town map in the lobby if it fancies you. It's beautiful, valuable, and old. I'm sure you'll understand once you see it. Now, please excuse me, sir. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to ask.
Did you see that, Zach? That was clearly David. Not a twin, not a split personality, just the work of a true professional. It's bizarre, but I can understand it. Remember what they say, the job makes the man.
Okay, or it's just the game being weird. Alright, fine. Whatever. I have successfully answered the door. Kaboom. And as he says, yeah, go and check out the map downstairs so I can figure out why the town is called Square. Probably because it's a square, if I had to flip a guess.
Do you feel that, Zach? Dozens of paintings no one will ever see. The faint scent of tobacco baked into these walls for over a century. Now that's what I call a hotel. Zach, can you see him? His fashion sense is beyond me, but he appears to be a gentleman. Perhaps we should talk to him.
Are you talking about the painting or the buffalo head? Because in this game it could really be either.
Nice tie. Did you buy it here?
It's been a long time since someone spoke to me. No one these days ever tries to see me.
They can see what's far in the distance, but are blind to what's in front of them. No. Maybe they're only pretending not to see. That's what civilized society does to people.
Exactly. Ever since mankind got their hands on civilization, they zoomed away at a frightening speed.
Zoomed away from what?
Don't be a fool. You know the answer. As for me, just call me Hoongan.
Hoongan. The title given to a leader in a certain religion. Is that what you are?
Do you comprehend the oracle?
The Oracle. Put on your religion hat, Zach. Here we go.
Fell 10 maidens in the shrine of hunger. Find the flying serpent in the ambiguous zero. Dance with the flying serpent, and you will glimpse the other world.
10 maidens and an ambiguous 0. Got it. But what do you mean by otherworld?
Follow the oracle.
Zach, did you hear all that? Looks like we've already taken our first step into chaos. But such is our duty. We need to accept the chaos, let it inside, then carefully dismantle it piece by piece. And after we've put all the pieces back into their rightful places, the truth will reveal itself. Let's capture the truth and present it with a shiny pair of silver bracelets, Zach.
Okay, so if you're wondering what just happened there, let's just recap, which is what I've done in the game so far is eaten some breakfast, gone back to my room, had a quick shower, made sure I was happy with what I was wearing, come downstairs to look at a map, and then figured out that I could speak to ghosts and apparently always could. So now I'm accepting advice from ghosts. So yes, ghosts just sort of came out of nowhere there, but you know, that's fine. Francis York Morgan can just speak to ghosts now. He can't in the future. This is a prequel, so logically this should have come up, you know, in the first game, but no, he didn't. He absolutely didn't, so on the plus side, there's a phone over there. Hello, headquarters! Yes, it's me! No, it's the paintings this time! And yes, as we might have suspected, the square is in fact a square.
Now let's start by tracking down those 10 maidens. The oracle gave us a place and an act. We need to go to the Shrine of Hunger and fell 10 maidens. Now where in this town can one satiate their hunger? The hotel and where? And the 10 things that need to be knocked down.
There is apparently, yes,
Simple,
a
right?
diner and a bowling alley.
The answer is bowling. The shape of the bowling pin was based on the feminine form. The 10 maidens are the 10 pins. Alexis's Diner and Lane. This is it, Zach. There are even pins and a bowling ball on the sign. I bet we'll be able to eat some Cajun cuisine and bowl there. Maybe even both at the same time. Nice job, Zach. I knew you'd be able to find it. Now for the other oracle. There's no flying serpent on this map. Could it be a contrail or perhaps a dragon? I'm sure we'll find out later. First, let's just figure out where we need to go. Do you know what the ambiguous 0 represents? 0 is usually treated as a base number, but under what conditions would a base number be ambiguous? The answer is temperature, Zach. Yes. 0 degrees Fahrenheit is minus 17.7 degrees Celsius, and 0 degrees Celsius is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. You'd be hard-pressed to find a more ambiguous 0 than that.
Okay, that was a bit of a hard riddle. Fine, so yeah, right there, delivery service. That's going to have the freezer in it where presumably the girl in the ice is.
The Clarkson Food Delivery Services Cold Storage Warehouse. That's got to be it. Even with this blazing sun in the sky, they can easily keep the temperature below freezing. Be honest now, Zach. You knew the answer from the very start, didn't you?
I needed a bit of help, I'm not going to deny. But like, once you said it referred to temperature, then I could figure it out, yes.
Sorry, boss, but this is a smoke-free hotel. If you're dying to smoke, head out the entrance and you'll find a smoking area in the rear parking lot.
Don't tell me. You're the
At
bellboy.
your service, boss.
The David thing is ridiculous and I love it. Alright, so. Map here, let's set a waymarker. If all I do is, I go right to the end here, and then I just take a right when I have no choice but to do otherwise, I will pass a nice park by on my way to the services. Good.
Compared to non-smokers, smokers have a 4.7 times greater chance of getting lung disease. You know that means it's more likely than getting asbestos poisoning?
The risk of death from lung cancer is actually much lower than what you think it is. In fact, it's tiny when compared to heart disease, strokes, and pneumonia. We're always surrounded by easy ways to die, you know. Some people even get randomly struck by lightning and die right there on the spot.
Then I reckon you also know that secondhand smokers have 1.3 times greater the risk compared to smokers?
Of course.
So you won't mind paying the damages when I die of lung disease? How about writing that in a contract for me? You got a pen, right?
Just as I thought, Zach. This contract paper, it's a Sang Rouge wrapper. Sang Rouge is here, too. This must mean that Sang Rouge is connected to the Lees Clarkson murder case somehow. This is a sprawling case that spread across the entire South. It's within our jurisdiction, Zach. We'll need to steal the right to investigate from the local authorities at once. By the way, miss, what's your name?
Patricia Woods. But I gotta write my name myself, or else it won't be a real signature.
Patricia Woods.
Tell me, Patricia, does this town have a sheriff? Or is it under the jurisdiction of the nearest city police?
Perfect timing. Well, go on and steal it if you want it. I was just thinking about how this is way out of my daddy's league.
Thank you for the information, Patricia. Okay, Zach, it's time to get to work. How should we seize control from the sheriff this time?
Well, the game's just told me about melee attacks, so okay, we're just gonna punch the sheriff potentially. Got it, and oh blimey. Okay, I'd heard this game had some frame rate issues, but that's just slightly unpleasant actually, and also a bit traditional. For the simple reason that, yeah, the original Deadly Premonition, originally they wanted it to be much bigger than it ended up being, but during development they realised it was going to knacker the frame rate too much.
Hey,
so they just, oh hi Patricia, sorry.
My daddy's still in the parking lot.
Yeah, I'll get to him in a second, I'm talking about frame rates. But yeah, they toned down on the amount of stuff in the town of Greenvale, so the frame rate held up a bit, and, I mean, it's playable, but it's a bit on the unpleasant side. That's a bit much, actually. But, okay, let's just stay inside buildings. Apparently in Louisiana, it is both very hot and very low frame rate. There you see, in a cutscene, it's much more pleasant.
Hey there. So, you're the fella from the FBI I've been hearing so much about. I'm Melvin. They call me the sheriff round here.
Melvin Woods.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan? But call me York if you can. That's what everyone calls me.
Huh? Well, all right. Mr. York. How's that sound?
Fine by me.
I'm sure you figured this out, but our town's a small one. Yeah, folks are already busy spreading gossip about how some FBI agents come to town. Now, I reckon you came from the city. What was it? D.C., L.A., or New York? Anywho, in the city, it's normal not to know who your neighbor is. Fella who moves in next to you could cook up a dozen folks in his backyard and no one would bat an eye. That's the city for you. Now, I never lived in one myself, but I visited them a few times, so I know what it's like. All pigs must die in the city of wolves. Yeah! Now, does that sound badass or what? I bet you'd... Hey! I know, CLG. I'm just trying to make a little small talk, that's all. Anywho, round these parts, everyone knows each other's name. So lots of folks get leery when they see an étranger like you. And since it's my duty to protect the town, I thought I'd stop by and say hello.
Zach, it looks like this sheriff is quite the happy-go-lucky type. A clear indication of just how peaceful this town is. Melvin, about the Lees Clarkson case.
I knew you were here for that case. Can't put one past the FBI. So they even got eyes on the smallest of towns like us, huh? Our world is filled with information, and it's all within their grasp. FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
The Lise Clarkson case is connected to a top-secret case that we've...
I know. If you're fixing to take the lead, then go right ahead. I'm just the humble sheriff of a tiny little town. My jobs are to stop my neighbors from beating the piss out of each other and listen to old folks complain. Honestly, this whole murder case has been weighing me down. So I'm gonna give you my full cooperation. Mr. Special Agent, sir?
Melvin, there's a cold storage warehouse on the southern end of town, isn't there? I'd like to get permission to enter it.
Say what?
You want to see where the body's being kept, right?
Oh, I get it now. Lisa's body, yeah. Now, that's what I call a special agent. You already figured that much out. But, I'm not too sure that, going down there at this point is really gonna help much, you know?
Explain it yourself, Daddy.
That's incredible. I don't believe this. Amazing. Did you hear that, Zach? They put the body in a cold storage warehouse. This is fantastic. Insanely fantastic.
Really? Well, how about that? Well, all right then. I'll head on down to the warehouse ahead of you and make sure we get permission to search it.
Sounds good.
The management company only keeps the warehouse open during certain hours, so you'll have to come during those hours. I ain't looking to create any further disturbances. So be on time. Got it?
Well, we got ourselves a sheriff on side, so, okay. We need to go to skateboarding. Yes, here we flippin' go. So speed up, slow down. Nice and flippin' simple. So, bit difficult on the old turning circle here. Oh, this is some serious frame rate issues. Right, I need to find my way to the... Never mind, I ran into another cutscene. Hi, Patricia.
Can I come with you? You signed a contract with me, remember? And besides, I'm kind of worried about my daddy.
Do whatever you like. This is America, land of the free.
That doesn't mean she's actually allowed to join FBI agents on active missions inside restricted private... Never mind, it's fine. Bring the child along, sure. Okay, so yeah, I need to be heading east in this direction, and by the way, I've got a skateboard, and I'm going to be accelerating, and oh, blimey, this is... I'm gonna be honest, this is slightly straight up unpleasant to play. Okay, so I'm not sure where she just was, but she auto catches up, and also there's red things here. Including there's a blue squirrel. There's just a blue squirrel. I mean, they're marked as red, which I'd normally think means I'm supposed to fight them, go. That's right. Oh, they're robbing me. They just, oh, flip me. That's a first aid kit, and nope, get him, get the squirrel. All right, don't let them steal from you, because apparently they're trying to rob me. One chicory tail where the... Oh! No, you don't. No! They're stealing! They stole my ammunition! This doesn't even make sense, but... Okay, there's squirrels, and they occasionally rob you. This is very surreal. Punch! Screw you. Okay, so I think I accidentally kicked that car. Sorry. Okay, back on the... Yes, the moment I'm on the skateboard, she disappears. So, I don't know if I just, put her in my pocket or something. But yeah, now we go straight down this road. And it looks like there's going to be a park right next to us. Sorry, not going to run you over, it's fine. Right, off the skateboard into this here park. And this gets me drums. So I can keep away animals and red shadows. Ah, I see. So like in the first game... At night, potentially, bad things are going to start happening. Because that's just a thing as happens. And also, possibly, moles are going to be an issue. Could be in a cute way, could be in a nightmare way. Hard to say. And there's the cemetery. Right there. Okay, we're going to be having a big old fight in this cemetery sooner or later. Not just yet, but if I come here at night, probably ghosts, monsters, etc. Just sort of, you know, the sort of thing that happens here in this game. So, okay, this is the furthest road in town, is it not? So if I just hop on the skateboard, start accelerating. Yeah, there we go. I'm heading straight at my destination now. Good, good, good. Here we go. It's the daytime right now, so now's the time to, yeah, take care of this cold storage facility. By the way, I've brought your daughter along to the murder scene, or like, well, the scene where the body's been kept. You're probably not okay with that, but screw it. Welcome to the world of York. I make a lot of terrible decisions.
I got something I think you'll like.
And it's a purple gun.
I call him Mr. Alligator. Badass, ain't he? It's a tranquilizer gun for the gators.
Aha, not lethal. So yeah, now I can pull out the gun, and we can fire. And oh, there's a little bit of latency on that, but seems to be good. Marvelous.
I'm gonna tell it to you straight right from the beginning, Mr. York. As you guessed, this warehouse is run by the Clarksons. The victim's father, Danny Clarkson, is the one who manages the whole place. Okay, but why did he choose to store her body in his own warehouse, right? Well, that's because there ain't no other place to store it. Our town has a clinic inside a church, but no morgue. Whenever someone kicks the bucket, we just bury him in the graveyard right outside of town. But not this time. We got a murder on our hands this time. We need to give Lisa's body an autopsy and keep it stored, right? So we had no choice but to rent out a corner of this warehouse.
I see. So that's what led to the ingenious choice to store the victim's body in a facility that her family owns.
Anywho, this is where the real story begins. Truth is, a few days before you got here, Lisa's body went missing.
Aha. So, we know where it ends up because we've seen the start of the game, chopped up and inside a block of ice. But, presumably if it's in a block of ice, that means it's elsewhere inside this very facility.
Missing?
Yeah. All of a sudden, poof.
Did you leave the warehouse unlocked?
I most certainly did not. I locked the whole place up and made sure no one could get inside. No one stole the original key, and I couldn't find any fingerprints at the scene.
Zach, this is the ambiguous zero, the deep freeze. Let's hurry up and find that flying serpent, shall we?
Aha, yeah, flying serpent. Now that's gonna be a good clue. Okay, got myself, yeah, vending machines and my little magic Resident Evil chest in case I need that for anything. But, for the time being, let's go and investigate, see what's going on. Can I actually speak to you guys? No, they're not willing to talk. Fair enough. I'm going to need to find Donnie to have a chat with him, if I had to guess. And here we go. I see something down on the ground. And that is... okay, that's just the tail of a fish. And here we got ourselves, is that really damn large frogs? Okay, that wasn't that useful to the murder investigation, but there might be a few more sparkles down on the ground. Looks like we're okay for now. Another save point here, but yeah, just keep on keeping on.
Melvin, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you a personal question. In the hotel parking lot, when I first met you, the picture you had on your dashboard happened to catch my eye. Was that your wife?
Oh, her? Yeah, that's my lady, all right. Candy. Her name's Candy. The prettiest girl in town, which makes me the happiest boy. A shooting star landed in a rural town, right on top of a man who now has a meteor-struck heart.
You always keep her photo with you?
You bet I do. The truth is, Candy's a little sick right now. She can't even leave the house no more. So I always keep her photograph with me. Kind of feels like we're always together, you know?
I see. You care for your wife a great deal. But this means that...
Yeah, that's right. My mama had me before she married Daddy. But it don't matter. He's still my real daddy to me.
Oh, thank you, CLG. And you're my pride and joy.
Well, Zach, isn't this a heartwarming scene? But there's one thing I just can't get out of my mind. Don't you think that photograph looked a bit too old? Perhaps Candy is already... No, let's not think about that. It might be a private matter, just like you, Zach.
Never be surprised by completely random non sequiturs. They happen in this game constantly. Ah, here we go. Bit more looking around. We got ourselves, yep, a crime scene. But, before we do that, grab myself some more fish. Yeah, this will be where, presumably, there was supposed to be a body. What we do have is footprints, but not just shoe prints, actual, yeah, naked footprints. Who would be in a room this cold without any shoes whatsoever? That's unusual. So, I can now inspect everything if I want to, including icicles, but plenty of this is... Actually, icicles not that usual, because that would suggest, yeah, water's leaking into this place, which doesn't feel like it, you know, ought to be, but whatever. The main thing we've got is, yeah, look up, there's also light, more icicles, hanging light, diddly diddly dee. Start with the footprints. That's the interesting bit, because why wasn't he wearing a shoe?
Zach, these are human footprints, and they're extremely large.
Okay, probably male.
Yes, Zach, I agree. These footprints must belong to someone who's used to walking around in cold temperatures.
Okay, pretty important thing there. Thermometer, check the exact temperature.
Look at the thermometer, Zach. It's at 10 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 12.2 degrees Celsius. This must not be the ambiguous 0. Zach, can you see that? That's right. There are 4 imprints in the frost on the top of this.
Aha, there's something over here on the light. Okay, 4 imprints, but that seems way too high up for anyone to be touching.
It's hard to believe, but I think these are fingerprints.
Okay, again, we're dealing with someone very large. Large feet, very tall, large hands.
Yes, Zach, that would lead one to believe that the body napper is a giant who's over 10 feet tall.
Which, in all fairness, could be true. It's a Deadly Premonition game. Who bloody knows? One of the characters at the end of the first game just sort of Incredible Hulks out with no previous indication he could do that. Alright, nothing else as I can tell, but, of course, where she was. That's crucial.
This frost is shaped like something we're very used to seeing. That's right, a body bag. Lisa's body must have been left here, but there are no signs that the bag was dragged away.
Okay, but if she was a slight girl, wouldn't be too tricky for someone to carry her out without dragging her.
So our criminal must possess monstrous strength.
She was a 16-year-old girl. They don't necessarily weigh that much, York.
Seems like our flying serpent isn't here. Is this everything, Melvin? There aren't any other rooms in this warehouse? No special rooms?
Well, there is the luxury foods warehouse.
Luxury foods? Why didn't you say so earlier?
Just thought you wanted to see where the body... I just thought you were only interested in warehouse number 2. Besides, it's underground, so it's even colder than this. You sure you really want to go down there? You could darn well freeze to death. All life will come to an end in the icebound zone. You feel me?
Let's head there at once. I'm sure that must be where we're meant to go.
But what about searching for Lisa's body?
All we need to do is find a 10-foot tall man with monstrous strength. That giant knows where she is.
10 foot tall?
But finding the flying serpent is more important right now.
And I don't think York is deliberately just screwing with Melvin at this point.
Thing is, Mr. York, you know the Clarksons? The folks who own this place? Well, they don't too much like the police. And they sure as hell don't like them when they're my color.
Ah, I thought so. I was right from what David said earlier.
It was, real hard for me to get permission to open up this place for you to search through. So they ain't gonna be too happy if I go back to them now, asking for another key.
What should we do then?
Let's just find a worker here who can lower the elevator for us instead.
Okay, so I've got to get myself a key. Gotcha. Alright, let's just start exploring around here, shoving some stuff around to get me into, little back areas and whatnot. Need to make sure I see everything, just in case there's something important here. Then again, this feels like actually I might want to pull this one out instead if I can. Can't do that, but aha. I'm in a little bit of a maze right now. Okay, use the minimap down there so I can plan whether I can push these things. Yeah, where and when using that. So can I move this to the... Yeah, if I just move this back to here, let go, loop around over to here now, and... Alright. Move that back just a little bit. Stop right there. No. No. Stop. Stop right there. By any chances they're going to be. Okay. Crouch. Pass by into... I'm just going deeper and deeper into a warehouse, but I'm assuming it's for a good... Aha. I've found something back over here. Alright, you need to be brought back in this direction. Bring you back to here. Let it go. And then just grab it from either side. Easiest to go this way, actually. And then just shove it over there. Release again. Boom. I've got myself a little back office. And a slumbering worker has dropped a key. Boom.
0 degrees Fahrenheit. Or minus 17.7 degrees Celsius.
We're now in the right location.
Hey, Avery! Open the damn door, Avery!
Avery, what's wrong?
It ain't no use, Mr. York. Once Avery starts working on something, that's all he sees. He just tunes out everything else.
Right, need to sneak my own way in. Got it. The problem isn't that he's, like, you know, evil or something. The problem is he's got, like, headphones in. So, okay. Just put a little bit of shot over there, and hopefully that will drop some meat and get his attention. There we go. Take your bloody podcast out, mate. I need you to open the door.
Hi, Avery. I'm Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, call me York.
York? You a smarty pants,
Avery Smith, who happens to be very tall.
He's shyer than he looks. Come on, just settle down, Avery. Tell him what this here place is for.
Lots of expensive food here. Yup. Mighty precious to the Clarksons, so I gotta guard it.
I see. So you're this area's keeper.
Oh, I help with the research, too. I do like research.
Research? What are you talking about, Avery? This doesn't look like a lab to me.
Oh, ain't no lab. It's a warehouse. Ain't no lab. Smarty pant scientist does the research. I ain't no smarty pants, you know.
He's a bit slow in the mind, but he ain't a bad guy. Oh. Your story about the giant who carried Lisa out. Don't tell me you think it's him. I mean, it's true that he's free to come and go as he pleases in this warehouse, but...
No, as far as I can tell, he's just a bit over 6'5". The one who moved Lisa's body must be at least 10 feet tall. He's clearly too short.
Too short, huh? Well, if you ever happen to find a man who makes him look small, I'd sure like to meet him.
Lise.
Hey, cut it out!
Lise? Why?
Avery, that's not Lise.
Not Lise?
This is Melvin's daughter, and my precious assistant. Unfortunately, Elise is no longer with us.
Lise! Lise! My fault! My fault!
I guess he's sort of like Lise, you know? See, the poor fella's got himself a childlike mind. You know how normal kids tease other kids in order to get attention? Well, with this big lug, sometimes folks who don't know him too well see something and end up calling the police. But I know that deep down, he's got a good heart. Hey, Mr. York, I'll keep him busy, but I'd appreciate it if you'd hurry this particular inspection along. Just holler at me if you find anything. I reckon that'll make it easier for you to go do your thing, yeah?
Melvin, I think you're finally starting to catch on.
Okay. Is it possible that Avery could actually be Patricia's father? I don't know. That was a very strange reaction. Still, we need to go find ourselves a flying serpent, which could be, to be honest, a very large snake that's been frozen. That would do the job very nicely. Okay, have a bit of a look-see round here, see what we can see, and a dragonfly is something that flies, but it's not a serpent.
Avery, this box looks special.
Clarkson food. For their home.
Melvin, is this the Clarksons' family crest?
Oh, the dragonfly? Yeah, that's the Clarksons' mark, all right. Ain't no big deal, though. You can find those all over town.
Is that so?
Well, yeah. They pretty much run all of this town's major industries. Yeah, I do believe they own just about everything there is to own. So their word is law. They got the whole darn town tattooed with their dragonflies. You can't even walk a few steps without seeing one.
Zach, this dragonfly is our flying serpent.
Ah, dragonfly. Yes, dragon's serpent. Okay, I was a bit slow off the mark there.
The flying serpent owns this town. They're related to Lise Clarkson, our victim. And Hungan's oracle pointed us toward their family crest.
Right, crack open that box. I'm guessing there might be bits of her in there.
Melvin, Patricia, I think I've had enough of this frozen world.
You're not going to open the box?
Let's head back out to that merciless sun.
But the box! There was a box with a flying serpent on it. Why didn't you want to... York, come back here and open that damn box. He genuinely just came back outside and didn't want to in any way open the box that the ghost told him about. So, okay, maybe it was good enough for us to know, hey, the Clarksons are involved, which we already knew because the victim is literally a Clarkson. Okay, fine, whatever. Never try and figure out York's logic. You're never going to be able to figure it out. It's just not going to flipping happen. So, that's the first scene investigated. Next up, the game says, yeah, go to a bowling alley with Patricia, because we're just travelling around with her these days. Figure out what's going on with the mysterious 10 pins. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I think you get the point. This here is Deadly Premonition 2, and it's pretty much entirely what I expected. Well, mostly, because York is still an incredibly talkative weirdo who just goes off on random tangents, but I will say, I'm a bit disappointed technically, like, just, look at those trees over there. Like, the original game was on the 360, and sure, it didn't run perfectly, but it looked a lot better than this, and that was a long flipping time ago, and the frame rate, especially when you actually get on the skateboard and you start moving at a little bit of speed, it's just dreadful. It's genuinely actually quite unpleasant to play. In fact, it's broadly a deal breaker for me in some ways. Like, the big thing that was enjoyable in Deadly Premonition 1 was going around town, getting to know Greenvale, getting to know what's going on in the world, all that good stuff, but exploring this world is genuinely a little bit on the unpleasant side, just because it's so ugly and low frame rate. It actually is, getting in the way. I can forgive a game running at 30 FPS. This game's not running at 30 FPS. So if you want a recommendation, well, it's a bit of an either-or sort of a one. Basically, if you played and loved the original Deadly Premonition, it's more of the same. But if you weren't a fan of the original, this one's not going to be winning you over. Because, yes, it feels very, very similar. And you've got to have a pretty darn high threshold for things looking very scabby. Very scabby very poor textures, very low frame rate, because, wow, this is, it's really chugging along a bit in the overworld. It's better inside, but even then, it's not spectacular. So, okay, bit of a mixed bag for me, bit of a mixed bag. Don't have time to do a full series of this, and honestly, the technical limitations, I think I'd be waiting for a couple of patches on this one, regardless. So, we'll leave this off here for now. But if you were into the original, well worth checking out, as long as, yeah, what you're seeing right now isn't a deal breaker for you. So, yeah, interesting one. Always interesting, always happy to play a game that's a bit different, and you don't get more a bit different than Deadly Premonition. Long may it continue. Hopefully, we can have some more stuff as weird and wild and wacky as this in the future. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Deadly Premonition 2. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Were we doing virtual reality, or was that just like a metaphor for lesbian sex? And then he smacked me lightly across the face with the money! What? This is... Well, where is this going? What's happening? We're going to buy a whole new bin, and we're going to write Brendan on it, and we're going to put him in it and toss it off the pier.